Raise Nation. We're broadcasting live from San Antonio, Texas for the 9th annual Raise Conference. I'm Dawn Lego with OneCause, and we are turning up the volume on fundraising, innovation, and inspiration, straight from the Riverwalk to the airwaves. And riding shotgun with me is my fantastic co-host, Kevin Spikerman with Auction Packages.
Thanks, Dawn. The energy here is electric. Thousands of change makers, bold strategies sparking, and fundraising strategies that will shape the future. Over the next 2 days, we'll bring the stories, the breakthroughs, and maybe even a little Texas-sized fun. Turn it up.
It's Raise Nation Radio. Raise Nation, I just had the privilege of seeing one of the most inspirational and heartwarming keynote addresses that I've ever had the chance to see in my life. Please welcome to our show, Derek Hyango.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Derek,
you for
for being
me.
here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't really know where to start. Just tell us about your journey from, I would say, 10 years old to now in an abbreviated format. That was just amazing. I really don't know where to start, but if you could talk to your 10-year-old self, let's channel that and bring this full circle from what we just heard on the stage at Raise 2025.
Yeah, thank you for having me and for giving me a chance to really tell you a little bit about what it means to be a 10-year-old and then embody a 55-year-old body. So I'm going to summarize this really quickly. But I'm originally Ugandan, which is a remarkable little country in East Africa, the size of Oregon, and but very populous. And that country was where I began my story with two parents that raised me from a very interesting perspective. They were both teachers and morphed around and became entrepreneurs. And that defined my life.
Well-dressed entrepreneurs, if I may say. I got to see a picture of them.
Yes.
Your mom, she was
very colonial, isn't it?
sporting it. Absolutely beautiful family.
Yeah. And I think that their morphing from being a teacher to an entrepreneur is what guided me to where I am right now. And that is that I saw them fight through adversity and fight through survival because Uganda came into a war that was unexpected with Idi Amin in power. And I saw them not give up. And I saw them fight to the very end of that war and came out on the other side of that war victorious and successful. And I got a chance to come to the US to go to school. And out of that particular experience, I was able to find an idea that guided me into what we're going to talk about today, which is a great story. So here I am.
Yeah. Okay, that wasn't abbreviated. A lot happened in between there. I have a funny.
Well, let's talk about that idea, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that idea, I think that simple idea that has made a vast improvement in the world. So
Crazy.
Explain to us just what that idea was and yeah, kind of how you expanded on that.
Well, the idea was that so ideas come from somewhere. They're based on your experience, your natural experience. We all go through things, but the body records that. The brain records those experiences. And eventually, the brain connects the dots for you. So my father was a soap maker, and I learned how to make soap around him. But I never thought that would be something like...
A thing.
Yeah, a thing.
Yeah.
So I left my country, came to the US, and landed into a hotel. And in the hotel were 3 bars of soap: facial soap, body soap, and hand washing soap. I was like, okay, why?
Because you had some insight intel to kind of know,
Oh, come on. So my father never said, this is your body soap, this is your facial soap, this is your bath soap. He never said that.
Yeah, right.
It was just
soap.
So I would put the 2 bars away, and every evening I would come back and they'd replace them. And then realize that the hotels were actually throwing away the partially used bars of soap. So then I figured out how to actually come up with the idea of recycling that soap. So that's what the idea was, recycling soap.
Yeah.
But wait, I got to tell you though, I've been to a few hotels in my day. I've done there's 3 bars of soap. I can use 1, take 2 home.
Yes.
But that ended right there for me.
Yeah.
I believe it was your upbringing, your parents, your family, just all of your experiences. Not the average person would think about recycling soap and making a huge difference.
Yeah.
That takes a really special person.
Yeah.
So again, channeling that inner 10-year-old self, like, where did it come from? I'm going to go back to Kevin's question because I would have taken the soap home and not thought
Don
twice
and I
about
would have
it.
walked out and been like, all right, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, you can look at it in different ways. We're all called to something, but some of us just pass by life and don't pay attention to the things that are happening to us. Because everybody says, don't worry about things that happen to you. You know, you should, respond and respond. And so for me, I think I look at the world every day as an opportunity. Every day I walk around, I'm like, oh, that could be interesting. That could be. And then what really calls me is what I really channel. So, Kevin, you've probably, you're a businessman. You've had something call you and you responded to it.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, the fact that I was a refugee and needed soap at one point, the fact that I had a father who made soap, the fact that I was around with, entrepreneurs, everything sort of coalesced around the idea. Like I could not let the idea go. And it did not begin on that very day. So I figured out that I can recycle soap, but it took me years to actually build a business. So there's patience, there's that commitment, dedication.
Same from
to
your
the idea.
parents going through war. Don't give up. The
Don't give up.
bravery, the courage, the resilience.
Yeah.
Because that's how you open this.
Yeah. Because I think that people think that when you get an idea, it happens next day. No. Ideas take time. You have to evolve with them. You have to learn. You have to assimilate knowledge to organize the idea into a functional marketplace kind of concept that people can consume. So that's what happens.
So how did you take that idea? I mean, because a lot of times you have a great idea, right? But then after a year or two, you moved on to something different. So how did you stay focused on this one thing to see it to fruition?
I think that takes, that's why not all of us are remarkable. I'm sorry. Not all of us are remarkable because we have this conflict of, being wed to one thing. Now you want to jump from one thing to another. And that lack of focus is what makes some people not successful. If you want to be successful at something, you've got to pay attention and you've got to focus in on that. There's a reason why Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. He didn't wake up in the morning and he was Michael Jordan.
And he wasn't just good at basketball.
No, he wasn't good at that.
He is good at basketball, but it wasn't just that.
No.
Yeah.
So look at everybody who is successful around you. The one thing they have in common is focus and dedication to that particular thing. Whether it's going to be successful or not is not their problem. They want to focus in and try it and try it again and try it again and try it until it works. And that takes time. Some people just don't want to be attention. They don't want things to take time. Everything takes time. Marriage takes time. Raising a child takes time. Being a farmer takes time. So time is important for you to realize your dream. You've got to give your dream time.
Yeah. I like what you said there. You said that the success isn't up to, don't worry about the success.
Yeah.
Just worry about the journey and the success will take care of itself.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, crazy. So I want to talk about your impact and what is this doing to, it's crazy.
Yeah.
What is it? 1.2 million bars of soap?
No, it's 2.6 million bars of soap every day.
Okay.
That we throw away, or we used to throw away because things changed.
Things changed.
That was 800 million bars of soap every single year that American hotels would throw away.
Yes.
That were partially used or broken into and that kind of thing. So the idea there was, how do we look at that number and formulate an idea around that number to change that into a benefit to all of us versus a waste. So we're taking waste and turning it into something that is remarkable, that is helpful. So that's what we did.
So I've seen a picture of you from your keynote where you're actually with all the people that you're distributing this soap to. Describe that for me. What is that feeling? Because you're so hands-on.
Yeah.
You travel the world.
Yeah.
You travel the world in a matter of weeks, right?
Yes.
And you're actually one with those that you're serving. What is that feeling from you to them and them to you? Can you give us that impact?
Yeah. So there are two parts to the feeling. One of them is transactional. So even though you're an NGO and you're trying to solve for a problem, you still have to have a business mind, because people think, people think that because we're NGOs, we're not business oriented. We have no structure. We have no organization. No, delivering a service, whether it be out of your kindness or whether it be self-service, it has to be rooted in business principles. So I had to really first understand delivery, supply chain, manufacturing, quality and analysis and accounting. I had to do all those things. NGOs have to have all those things to the T.
I love that message. Yeah, for sure.
So you're not going to come and try and serve people and bring bad behavior to the table, meaning you're late in delivery. You promise things that you don't deliver. You're not professional. No, you have to really work with everybody in the world to deliver that service on time. Because even though you're giving service to a homeless person, you don't say we'll be serving food at 5 p.m. and then you show up at 8.
And use the excuse, well, I'm a charity.
Oh,
so don't
because
worry.
they're a charity.
Yes, right.
No, sir, no. So I had to get
excuses.
that right.
Yes.
That is wonderful. But then the other side, then you have to bring
The heart.
compassion and love and understand that the people you're serving need that love and that compassion. Yes, they may not be on the up and up, but you're serving. So servant leadership kicks in. So you deliver that service with love and gentility. So what did I feel? I felt both those emotions, that I'm a business first, and then that I'm a charity second. And then I merge those two things. Lovely stuff.
And I believe that that's okay to prioritize that way.
Yeah.
We don't have to feel guilty about feeling a business first, because
Yeah.
it's not going to succeed if we don't have that structure and discipline
You need the
in
backbone.
place.
Yeah, it has to have a backbone in place
sure.
to
Yes.
succeed. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Where do you see things going? So it's the name of the foundation again for
It
us?
was the Global Soap Project at the
Global
time.
Soap.
Yeah.
What is it today?
Well, we were bought out by a company called Clean the World.
Clean the World.
Yeah, they're based in
Okay.
Orlando now. Yes.
So what are we doing today?
I moved on,
Okay, fair enough.
and now I'm a CEO of a small, wonderful organization called Clean Production Action.
Okay.
And what we're looking at is the impact of hazardous chemistry or hazardous chemicals in our supply chain. What hazards do we have in our supply chain? Everything from your bra that you wear, to your food that you eat, to the Tupperware that you use to cook. What is in there that is making you ill? And can we substitute those bad chemistries with good chemistry? So Clean Production Action is a remarkable organization out of Boston that is looking at working out the old chemistry and bringing in new chemistry. Safer chemistry is what we're looking at. And we are partners with many other organizations that are doing remarkable work, so that the next generation of chemistry is not going to give you the cancers of this world, the diabetes of this world. So we are reinventing chemistry as you know it into green chemistry. And that's a remarkable piece of
Remarkable.
work.
If anyone can do it.
Oh,
I was going to
I
say, there,
know
knowing
you.
that you're behind it, and
Yes.
behind that movement, I
I'm in.
feel very confident that it's going to get done.
it's going to be good. Yes.
How are you enjoying your Raise experience? This is your first time.
Yes.
You followed the 9-year history of Raise, but it is your
Yeah.
first time attending. How are you enjoying the experience?
You know, it's what is wonderful about Raise is that you're with friends that really care about the world, and that they are taking all their work in fundraising and turning it into something that is deliverable for people's lives to change. There's an issue of accountability. When you raise money, somebody's giving you that money to go solve a problem. So I see a lot of accountability here. I see a lot of trying to make the business go right, that when you give them the money, they're going to use it for good things. But I also see an evolution, that raising money is a changing art form and a science. And that the next generation of fundraisers is going to be bright and smart about how they raise money, how they hold themselves accountable. Technology, how is technology going to change this space? Getting to know all those things is what Raise is all about. And I think that is arming fundraisers and other partners within the fundraising community to see what the next 20, 30 years would look like. So I think I'm enjoying the new fundraising game that I'm seeing at Raise. It's cool. It's cool.
And
to
we've
see.
been 9 years in the making as
Yes.
well. I mean,
Yes.
we're in this beautiful space. It's huge end to end here at the Marriott, but we didn't start here either. It took a lot of
Yes.
persistence and
Yes.
courage from a basement hotel
Yes.
in 9 years
DC or
ago
something
in
like
DC.
that. Yeah.
That's exactly right. You did follow the history.
Yeah.
So, what are you hoping that nonprofits walked away with after your keynote? If there was just one thing, if you can just put it in a box,
Yeah.
bottle it up, this is the one thing I want you to carry with you, what would that message be?
To go back and relearn how to do storytelling. Stories are one of the most powerful things a fundraiser can ever use to really convince the donor and the practitioners and the people they serve that the work is important. There's a reason why Hollywood is important. You know, storytelling is one of the most fundamental things in moving the dial to get people to act. So if you want people to act and to change behavior or to move the culture around, you've got to have a great storytelling capability. So don't forget that. That's where your bread and butter is. It's in turning these remarkable stories into impact stories, into why stories. Why now? Why then? When? What? How? How are things changing? So I see that a lot of people are not placing a lot of priority on telling the story right.
Mm-hmm.
And
They're telling stories,
but they're not getting us there,
Yes.
you know? So today I told a story.
You did.
And that
Beautifully.
story was to get people to think about impact and legacy. Because a good story leaves a legacy behind.
That would be the word
the
I
thing.
would use
Yeah.
to associate with
Yeah.
you, legacy for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Okay, to wrap up, I have one more question. It might
Yeah.
take a moment for you to think about it, but
Yeah.
what would you tell your 10-year-old self?
Oh my goodness, that's a powerful one. To trust that things do heal over time, that healing in the journey that has conflict in it does come if you stay the course. Some people give up. Some people think things will never change. I thought of suicide. I thought I'm going to give up. This is not worth it. But I stayed and hang in there, and things did change. Stay the course. It's okay. Everything will work out.
10-year-old
It's tough
self-appreciation.
to go through hard times, but things do work out.
Obviously
Yeah.
so, but you're a remarkable person, very
Yeah.
special. We're blessed to have you at Raise.
Yeah, thank you.
For sure, and to Raise Nation.
Yeah.
So powerful. That's a mic drop moment. There's nothing left for me to say, but if you don't know Derek, please hear about his story. You'll be forever changed. I was forever changed. Remember, don't give up, stay the course, and get that story right. More coverage live soon from Raise in 2025 in San Antonio.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us. My name's Trevor Nelson with HGA Fundraising, live from the Raise broadcast studio. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Very, very special guest. Suzanne is here with us, and CEO of Livestrong. And I have to say, I don't know what, my mind goes back to like 2003, and I go, I had a bracelet. And I was going to bug you for one if you have them.
Absolutely.
I was like, I
There
wore
you
this
go.
so
I brought you
loyally.
one.
I was a
brought
big
you
cycling
one.
fan, obviously a fan of the
Yeah.
work that y'all do. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Yeah, it's great to
Absolutely.
meet you.
Yeah, great to meet
Thanks
you
for
as well.
coming. Yeah.
Yeah, we've sold or given away almost 100 million.
Okay, of these.
Of those.
I remember they used to be a buck a piece.
Yeah, they're still a buck a piece.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah, they're
Oh,
still
cool.
a buck a piece. So if you're listening and you want a wristband,
Yeah.
just come to our site. Please don't go on eBay and don't go on AliExpress.
Totally.
Because they're not real.
Okay.
So they're not real. They're fake.
Genuine
So,
article. Well, thank you
genuine
so
article.
much.
They're still
Yeah,
$1.
I wore it so loyally for been a big fan of the work that you all do. And you're the CEO now of Livestrong. How long have you been?
For almost 2 years now.
Okay, cool.
I've been with the organization for about 5 or 6. So
Mm-hmm.
I came into Livestrong from Susan G. Komen.
Okay.
So I was executive director of Austin, Susan G. Komen Austin, and then we took over the east coast of Texas, is what I say. So Central and East Texas.
Gotcha.
And I moved to Livestrong as chief mission and strategy officer, and then transitioned into this role when our CEO retired.
Okay. And you all are celebrating an anniversary here pretty soon.
We are almost 30 years old. So if you don't feel old yet,
Yeah,
you should.
I'm 45. I don't mind disclosing how. So
Yeah,
old enough
so-
to remember the bracelets.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's just like a lot of nonprofits, right? If you can last this long, because most don't. There's kind of a natural attrition after time. But if you get to 30 years, you evolve with society, with the world. One thing that we're really excited about, and I'm super proud of, is that our mission hasn't ever changed. No mission drift here.
I'm very clear with it. Absolutely. Talk to the folks that maybe don't know about what you're all raising money for.
Yeah. So our work is to improve the lives of anyone affected by cancer. Our intersection begins at the moment of diagnosis. While finding a cure and prevention are really important, there are a lot of great organizations out there doing that. They're raising money for that. They're investing in labs. They're investing in research. We support it. We advocate for it all the time, and we do everything we can to lift their voice up. For us, it's about survivorship. Once you're diagnosed, whether your cancer journey is 2 months or 20 years, there are challenges that come with that you can't possibly anticipate until the moment you hear those words. We're here to make those things a little simpler, remove some barriers, things like fertility, exercise oncology. Like, you have to move. You have to move. Once you're diagnosed, we're going to encourage you to work with your healthcare team and keep moving, because it reduces your mortality rate by 5 times.
Oh, wow.
So you've got to keep moving, things like that.
Yeah.
We've got resource support. We just wrote a book, a children's book, all types of things like that, where we're really intersecting with anyone affected by cancer, not just the patient, because the whole ecosystem is affected when somebody gets cancer.
No question. There's not anyone listening, or us included, or anyone at this conference that hasn't been affected by cancer, either 0 degrees of separation or 1 degree.
Right.
It's obviously something that's afflicted so many families, so many folks. I know you're all doing amazing work, and I know it's not easy. Obviously, it's very challenging work. It's not cheap to do the research and to be on this mission. Talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind, just so folks have some perspective about it. Yeah.
So one of the reasons why research is important, and like I said, we have great partners out in the cancer ecosystem that invest heavily in that research. What we've seen, like recently, with changes in federal funding, from a nonprofit standpoint, we don't receive any federal funds, but a lot of our partners do. And so investing in research from the nonprofit side is really important, especially when you see federal funds removed that may stop some of that research that is critical to finding cures or improving treatments. For us at Livestrong, we advocate for, we work with the American Cancer Society, and like I said, you can just name the list of organizations we work with to lift that up. Fundraising and working towards improving people's lives, like survivorship, is always challenging. It is never free. It is very expensive to do, and it's hard to measure soft impact. I think that that's one of the things that, over my almost 30-year career in fundraising and nonprofit work, one of the hardest things to do is to talk with donors about soft impact. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not just about how many people, but how you impact them. I don't know, say for our example, our fertility program. So we intersect with people as soon as they've been diagnosed, before they have treatment. If they're at a young age and they haven't had children yet, or they want to be able to continue to pursue the possibility of a family in the future, they'll often have to preserve their fertility. For women, that cost is $12,000 on average, and insurance doesn't cover it in all but 12 states. And even in those 12 states, there's a lot of strings attached to that coverage.
Red tape.
Yeah, a lot of red tape.
Yep.
And they have a very finite amount of time. So, long story, but we've connected them to clinics that are able to support them. They give them deep discounts. We've got a pharmaceutical partner. All of that work that we do, we serve about 1,000 people a year in that particular program, costs us around $205,000 annually to administer and execute on that program. But I have no idea how many babies. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? We're not tracking. So when we talk about soft measure,
totally,
that's one of those things that I can tell you that we have 1,000 people last year who have the hope for a family in the future.
Yeah.
But I can't really tell you how many.
Totally. Yeah.
How many people
well,
had
it's so
babies.
far reaching.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And so a lot of nonprofits have impact like that, right? Impact that
Totally.
takes a long time before you actually see the fruit of the labor.
Interesting, because you're talking about just, communicating that with donors, supporters, and what have you. It's an interesting time for that. It's you've seen a lot in your 3 decades.
Yes.
For the folks listening that might have that challenge of that long tail of impact and soft impact, as you mentioned, I haven't actually heard that moniker, which I think is really, really thoughtful. What do you suggest?
There's a lot of things to
That's a
do,
tough
but this is really
question.
hard.
Yeah.
I think
What do you do? How about that?
this is what I do. What I do is not ask for money.
Yeah.
I try to tell the story of hope. And it's a hard one to tell. And we're always looking for the stories that look like the person that I'm trying to convince to come and be with us in supporting that particular area of the mission. So as diverse as the people that we serve, that's who I'm looking for in the donor community too. And I hope that I can tell a long story in the background so they understand that there's that long story in the front, right? There's this great quote that I've been using a lot lately. It says, I'm going to modify this.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to Suzanne it
Make
a
it
little.
fit.
I'm
Make
going
it
to make
fit.
it Suzanne's a little bit.
That's awesome.
We should all be out here planting shade trees under which we will never sit.
Sure.
So that's what we're telling donors.
Yeah.
When you come and say fertility is the program, or it's financial, or there's so many things, exercise. I don't know the outcome. I can tell you what science tells me. I can tell you some numbers and statistics that I can guess at. But when I go to tell a donor, what they're doing and where their money goes, they're planting trees. And how exciting for them that it's not just about the instant gratification. It's about a legacy that they're leaving.
Awesome.
Even it's a $10 legacy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. The most prolific fundraisers I've ever been around have said, I didn't have time, because I hear you say it too, I didn't have time to focus on the money, so I focused on the people. I really like that one. That was a quote I stole from a friend of ours.
That's a good one.
And it sounds like that's what you're doing as well.
Yeah, I definitely focus on the money.
I get it. Hey, it's paying. You got to pay the bills. You got to keep the lights on. Yeah,
you have to. I think if you can communicate with the donors as a community, because I think that's the other word, right? Is community.
Yes. Yeah. What people are craving in record numbers.
Record numbers.
Yes.
And so when you're thinking about how do I build community here, even like let's say you're saving the 3-toed frog, right? One of my other favorite examples, because I'm a horned frog, went to TCU, go frogs, bleeding
Okay, cool.
purple.
Far out.
But if you're saving the frog, you're like, what do I have? Like, I can't connect people to frogs, but you can connect people to other people who are just as passionate about those frogs. I call it my starfishing principle. I did make this one up.
Cool.
This one is actually mine.
Straight from Suzanne.
Yeah. So I call it my starfishing principle. There's this parable, you've heard it, I'm sure, where there's an old man, he's walking on the beach. He sees a figure in the distance, and it's a young boy, and at this young boy's feet are starfish, just thousands of them. And he's picking them up one at a time and tossing them back in the ocean. The old man gets there and he says, hey man, bro, what are you doing?
Slow down, buddy.
Yeah, you're not really doing anything. Like you're not making a difference, right? So the kid picks one up, tosses it back in and says, well, it made a difference to that one. And I say to that, okay. And for a while, that parable kind of kept me moving and motivated in my work. But today I say, you know what? I'm going to change the ending of that story. Instead, the little boy leaves the beach. He turns around and he goes back to town. And he goes and finds all the people who are just as passionate about saving those starfish as he is, brings them back to the beach. Not only can they clear the beach, but they can figure out why they got there in the first place and make sure it never happens again. And that is impact at scale. And that is what we're doing.
And they can do it together.
We're building a community of people who love 3-toed frogs more than anything else. It's not about the frog. That's just what you're connecting through. And so as you're connecting with those, building those communities in your organizations, that's what you have to find. What's the starfish? right? What's the center draw, and build the communities around that.
Love it. Love it. Everyone's craving it. Everyone can get behind it. A lot of gravity in this conversation, as a matter of fact, because once again, the work that y'all do touches so many people. Cancer touches so many people. Everyone, as a matter of fact. As we mentioned, either 0 degrees or 1 degree of separation, and it's affected everyone's lives. A lot of gravity, but tell folks what you're doing here. Is this your first time at Raise?
It is not my first time at Raise.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I was very fortunate enough to win a Innovative Fundraiser of the Year back in like 18.
We got some Raise history. Yeah. 17 was the first one, I think.
19,
Yeah. That's awesome.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I don't
cool,
remember.
Cool.
I actually ran into Steve just a few minutes ago, and I was like, "What year was that?" He was like, "I don't know. What year was that? We're not sure."
That's awesome.
So I won that, and I've been a part of the judging panels ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you apply, I might be reading your application.
Far out. Cool.
Yeah, so this is not my first one, but it's been a while since I've been back to the conference, but it's in my home state. So
Talk about what it means to you as a fundraiser.
what Raise means to me as a fundraiser, it's the community. I think what OneCause has done is not only, I mean, obviously they have a great platform, right? And a lot of the nonprofits here and around the country use the platform to increase their fundraising and be really effective there. But they've done more than that. It's about that community, right? Very rarely do fundraisers truly have the opportunity to come to a conference where you can connect with one another. There are not 9,000 people here.
No.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a power to being this really great, intimate, small to mid-size conference where you can see the same people over and over again. You can see them for coffee, and then you can see them down the hall. Before I even got to the floor here, I ran into someone I knew in the elevator. I think it's so important for the fundraising community to continue to feed one another new ideas. And in that spirit, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So I'm here with a new idea, and I'm hosting a session tomorrow afternoon.
You're going to share that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Pleasure to meet you.
Great to meet you.
Great to hear about the work that you're doing.
Thanks so much for
Thanks so
having
much
me,
for joining
Trevor.
us. Appreciate you.
You bet.
Thanks everybody so much for tuning in, and more to come.
It is through adventures and journeys, treasured moments made with friends and family, that we learn and experience a global community, ignite curiosity, and join together in changing lives, both our own and those impacted positively by the missions of nonprofits. What was once just a vacation becomes something far more meaningful for all involved. This is life at its fullest, and it is what we offer. We are a leading provider of the best consignment packages to nonprofits for their auctions. We partner with renowned travel and adventure companies, private residences, hotel providers, and local experts to deliver risk-free, customizable, and one-of-a-kind experiences to our valued clients. And because we share a vested mutual interest with our clients, our experienced team will deliver resources, best practices, and a strategy designed to support charitable fundraising goals. There are so many worlds to experience. We make them all possible. We are Auction Packages.
Matt, hello, and welcome to Raise Nation Radio.
Well, thank you, Sam. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, I'm excited to have you here. We are at the Raise conference, and you are presenting at the Raise conference. So I want to be able to talk a little bit today about both your organization and also what you're presenting on. So first, Matt Bitsakai, Donor Doc, you are a former fundraiser turned into a tech solution for the nonprofit sector.
So I actually was never in fundraising myself.
Oh.
No, I've been in the CRM space now for about 23 years and spent a lot of time working with like the big monolithic CRMs over the course of my career, worked with a lot of nonprofits, actually built a kind of nonprofit add-on for Microsoft's big CRM.
Yeah.
And just kept seeing over and over again how for like those small to even mid-sized organizations, how it just was so hard to ever get it to work well for people.
Folks using Excel spreadsheets need to find a CRM.
Yep.
What makes DonorDoc that solution?
We really built it. So when we think back, we've been in the market since like 2018. Before we started actually selling it, we worked with a lady out of our hometown named Babs Kohler. Babs was a fundraiser. Babs liked to do things where she would write everything down on a napkin, like real Excel was a stretch. And we used to have a mantra of like, let's build something for Babs.
Amazing.
And so that was kind of our North Star, is we were trying to build something that was intuitive for people, that was cost effective, that was easy to use, because we kept seeing like, if you have a CRM or a donor management tool that's difficult, people don't use it. And then why even why have it? B, you end up with bad data. The only thing worse than having no data is making decisions on bad data. And so I think we've always had that focus on building something that works well for that smaller organization. And so even as we've added to the product, it's certainly evolved over the last 7 years, but we've kept that in the forefront of, let's keep it easy to use, intuitive. And while it's powerful, it's not overwhelming. And I think that's why it kind of works for people who are looking to get into that first CRM, maybe that they, jumping off of Excel, or worse off of, notebooks and paper. And we still see that. So,
Well, and that's, I think we've been in the sector now for almost 3 decades. And that's the number one sort of challenge or crisis organizations run up against, is that they have a tool that's just big and hard to navigate. And then as they transition through staffing, it doesn't get updated and bad data. So we've really appreciated DonorDoc's entry into the marketplace, because I think that you are offering a solution that's needed and needed right now.
Yeah, I agree. We're in this age right now where it's like data is becoming so important and powerful. We come from a time of CRM where, we would ask people to enter notes and activities, and a lot of that was really kind of self-serving for the organization. Like we were asking people to be historians, essentially, of what is happening, because we know that we're going to have people leave the organization. We don't want that knowledge walking out the door. And so it was always this feeling of like, why am I having to spend time putting these notes in or putting these activities in? Well, now we live in this time where that unstructured data is like gold for us to be able to help them understand the relationship at a deeper level in a much easier way through tools like AI and things that we're using. And so having a tool that's actually easy to use to get that data in there, you get so much value out of it if you do that. And now you're getting value as a fundraiser. You're not feeling like I'm putting this in here for somebody else later. I'm actually going to see value out of that data right now.
Well, so you're speaking here at the conference and you're speaking about fundraising in these challenging times. So what do you think nonprofits, especially nonprofits you work with, need to be most focused on right now?
I think we live in a time right now where we wear doing more as like a badge of honor. Like we have this constant should list that just keeps growing. Like I should talk to this donor, I should reach out here, I should be doing all of these things. And sometimes then, because that should list gets so long, we get paralyzed to actually go start doing anything. And so with this like culture of always doing more, I think it's imperative that fundraisers actually start to focus less on getting more done and focus their time and energy on getting the most important things done every single day. And to me, as a fundraiser, the most important things that we can do every day are building human relationships with our donors. And so that, if you think about the environment that we're in, or that our customers are in, where there is this constant drive to get more done, there's all these new things coming out all the time. There's new fundraising methodologies, there's new technology, it leads to a lot of like overwhelming, overworking, burnout, which leads to turnover, which just makes all of this even more challenging. So we at DonorDoc, we just really believe that there is a path to helping these organizations focus on the most important things every single day. And I think that not only leads to less burnout, I think it leads to more fulfilling work. And I can go to bed every night knowing that I moved the needle today and helping move my mission forward. So.
Well, I think that the nice thing that you're reflecting on is the role that the fundraiser plays, and that you're supporting the fundraiser. I think that there's a movement slowly evolving in this time about making sure that we're supporting our team, our staff, rethinking the nonprofit sector as a whole. I think that as we see systems that weren't working crumble, it's an opportunity to rebuild. But there's a lot of things that haven't worked in the sector. So is there a myth out there that you want to bust? Something that you feel like you hear all the time and you're like, no, not true.
Yeah. Well, I think it actually goes back to that the myth that to be successful, we have to get more done all the time. Like that feels like something that you see it in action in so many nonprofits where we need to plan another event, we need to do another campaign, we need to do all these things, or we should be doing all of these things. And I think that the reality is that you can be very, very successful doing less.
That's true.
But as long as when you're doing less, you're focused on the things that actually move the needle.
Yeah, and doing them
well.
Well,
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you and I share a similar belief that the word should needs to leave the vocabulary of the nonprofit sector.
Yeah.
And we have often laughed about the fact that there is sort of this like pile of should that sits there. So thank you so much for joining us here at Raise Nation Radio. So excited to have you on the show. And thank you for joining the fundraising elevator where we're all headed up.
Yeah. Thank you for having me and enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you.
That's a wrap from San Antonio, Texas, the incredible backdrop of Raise 2025. A huge shout out to my co-host, Kevin Spikerman, and to all the insightful voices that joined us to share their passion and fundraising brilliance.
Couldn't agree more, Don. And a huge shout out to the team at GSF Media, the production team working behind the scenes to bring Raise Nation Radio to life. Don't forget, you can catch every episode from Raise 2025 and relive the inspiration anytime.
Until next time, thank you for sharing the Raise experience and everything that you do to move great missions forward.
I'm Kevin Spikerman.
And I'm Dawn Lego. Stay fearless, fundraisers.
In the world of nonprofit fundraising, every moment counts. You're dedicated to your mission, but are outdated tools holding you back? OneCause is here to help streamline your efforts, elevate your donors' experience, and boost your fundraising results, all in one easy-to-use platform for events, auctions, peer-to-peer, and online giving. With our integrated tools, AI-driven innovation, and our award-winning support, get ready to save time and raise more for your mission with OneCause.